I have some bourbon here, Eagle Rare, that I'm going to enjoy while we listen to Talkie Talkerson do some talking.
Admiral
Nope,
Stephen
nope, nope, not
Hackett
that.
was a decorated
This.
officer in the Tali Zora, a Quarian machinist, was born in 2161 on the live ship Raya. During her pilgrimage, a rite of passage in which Quarians proved their worth to the fleet, she recovered a Geth memory core that proved a rogue Spectre, Saren Arterius, was working with the Geth. As a consequence, Tali Zora became a crew member of the SSV Normandy, where she served under Commander Shepard during the Battle of the Citadel. Tali Zora returned to the migrant fleet following the destruction of the First Normandy. Soon after, the Admiralty Board sent her to the former Quarian colony of Haestrom to recover data on the planet's dying sun. Most of her team was killed when they fell under attack from the Geth. But Tali Zora herself was narrowly rescued by Shepard and the crew of the rebuilt Normandy. The Quarian rejoined Shepard to help oppose the Collector threat, but her current whereabouts are unknown.
Jacob Taylor?
Jacob Taylor is a human biotic and was once a Cerberus operative working under Miranda Lawson. Born in 2157, he began his career as a Systems Alliance Marine and served as a member of the Corsairs, an arm's-length program for operatives working outside of Alliance jurisdiction. Taylor survived the Geth attack on Eden Prime, but left the Alliance afterwards because of what he perceived as unresponsiveness in the face of aggression. While working for Cerberus, Taylor thwarted a plot by Batarian terrorists to unleash a bioweapon on the Citadel. Soon after, he was assigned to Project Lazarus, the Cerberus effort to reconstruct Commander Shepard and the Normandy stealth frigate. Following the project's completion, Taylor accompanied Shepard through the Omega-4 relay to destroy the Collectors. He survived that mission and has since left Cerberus, although his current whereabouts and affiliations are unknown.
Yeah, these are going way back, because this is from before I picked up Tally for the crew. That's crazy.
Jelix, the second planet in the Arai system, is a marginally habitable world of mountains and ice. The planet was turned into a human penal colony upon its discovery in 2161. But its prison shut in 2179 after racking up the worst safety records in the system's alliance. Lawsuits are still in the courts. Shortly after the closure of the prisons, a handful of intergalactic corporations moved in to set up mines, supply depots, and other facilities on the planet.
Lessus?
An unremarkable world located far from regularly traveled trade routes, Lessus is inhabited only by a small Asari colony. The main feature is a monastery that houses a large population of Asari with active or latent Ardot Yakshi genes, a disorder that causes the death of anyone who mates with the afflicted Asari. Although some of the colonists exiled themselves voluntarily, many were sent to Lessus by their families to protect society from their deadly potential. The monastery emphasizes individual sacrifice for the good of the community. Latent Ardot Yakshi, as well as active sufferers who show that they can control their condition, may be offered a chance to reintegrate into Asari society after spending sufficient time on Lessus. Active Ardot Yakshi whose psychological profiles show capacity for neither empathy nor re-education are confined to the monastery for life.
Also, I forgot to mention at the initiation of the Codex episode, of course, as always, through Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, anytime that we start a Codex episode, I will end the episode after the Codex is completed. So, if you wanted to skip this episode and go on to the next one, you would not miss any gameplay if you are watching it at a point where another episode has already been uploaded. Rannoch.
The planet Rannoch, an arid planet orbiting an older star in the Tikkun system, is the former Quarian home world. Almost 300 years ago, the Quarians were driven from Rannoch by the Geth, synthetic servants who gained sapience and rebelled against their creators. Although Rannoch is now largely uninhabited, the Geth have acted as caretakers, working to repair the planet's ecology, restore ancient structures, and cultivate some farmland. Rannoch has no insect life. As a result, its pollinating plants evolved to rely on animals for propagation. This symbiosis between flora and fauna is responsible for the Quarians' weakened immune systems, which made colonization of other planets extremely difficult after their exile from Rannoch. For many Quarians, reclaiming their home world from the Geth is a matter of both cultural and physiological necessity.
This might be the first time that they've mentioned that Rannoch does not have insect life, and that's the reason why the Quarians have weakened immune systems. Previously they said that it was because the Quarians had lived on ships for literally centuries that they had weakened immune systems. I want to say, from my days studying anthropology in college, that the leading theory on why humans face such a wide range of diseases, infectious diseases, is not because of insects or other parasites. Insects or parasites. It's more so because we domesticated animals. The idea is that the domestication of animals in the early stages of agriculture exposed humans over long periods of time and close proximity to all the diseases that pigs, cows, chickens, sheep, goats, ducks, like everything that we domesticated, all the diseases that they could suffer from because they were those germs, bacteria and viruses, were exposed to humans over a number of generations. They adapted and spread to humans, basically. So hence the reason we have things like smallpox, which I think was a pig disease before humans. Things like avian flu from turkeys, mad cow disease from cattle, obviously. All kinds of different diseases are theorized to have originally come from domesticated animals. My dryer just buzzed at me, sorry. I've never heard that there's a large number of diseases that we would have because of insect life, so I'm wondering why the fact that there are no insects on Rannoch would be responsible for Quarians having a weakened immune system. I've not heard... That seems to be retconning why they have a weakened immune system, because I'm pretty sure they said previously it was because they'd all lived on sterile ships for years and years and years and years and years. Not at all having anything to do with Rannoch. I don't know if that's a retcon or what the hell's going on. Thessia.
The Asari homeworld, Thessia, is the core of the largest economy in the Milky Way. The planet's reserves of Element Zero are so vast that they affect its price galaxy-wide. Because life on Thessia evolved in an EZO-rich environment, the world is home to a wealth of both biotically active and EZO-resistant species. Travel to the planet is strictly controlled, but smuggling remains an issue. Thessia is host to varying republics instead of a single government, and although each maintains a formidable military, it is notable for having long been free of internal or external wars. The Asari are renowned for their cultural and political dominance, and they excel in ambassadorial ventures. They have a strong presence in Citadel politics and galactic policy. However, it is the unfocused political structure of their homeworld that has left the Thessians unprepared for the current conflict.
Where did they call them Thessians instead of Asari?
The Reaper, like the Geth plasma shotgun, the Spitfire is not a true energy weapon. Instead, the minigun magnetically flings clusters of superconducting toroids. These donut-shaped projectiles are designed to shatter upon impact, arcing electricity between the fragments and flash-converting them to plasma. The gun's punishing automatic blasts impact with the heat of a cutting torch. The weapon's stopping power has garnered the attention of both Alliance and Quarian intelligence, who theorized that the Spitfire may have been designed to destroy other Geth. Enough Spitfires have been found in the field to suggest that the weapon is out of the prototyping stage and that a schism among synthetics may have forced them into production.
Okay, that's the main part of the codex. That wasn't so bad. Let's see how much of the secondary codex there is. And I gotta read all this shit. Asari Ardat Yakshi. Ardat Yakshi, demon of the night winds, are Asari suffering from a genetic disorder preventing conventional melding of nervous systems during mating. Instead, Ardat Yakshi electrochemically ravage their partners' nervous systems, in extreme cases leaving victims as vegetative invalids or corpses. Asari psychologists regard this incapacity for mental fusion as preventing the development of empathy, leading to psychopathy. There is no known cure. The disorder generally begins in infancy, reaching full pathology during maiden adolescent sexual development. While seductive and sexually driven as other Asari, Ardat Yakshi are congenitally sterile. Ancient Asari mythology held Ardat Yakshi as gods of destruction, depicting them as villains of countless legends and as the anti-heroes of numerous Asari epics. Basically, it would be like if vampires were actually a real human, experience. Like, genetically, people could be turned into vampires. It'd be creepy. Yeah, they'd be the villains, pretty much. Contrary to popular belief, Ardat Yakshi are neither extremely rare, around 1% of Asari dwell on the AY spectrum, nor are they all murderers. Most cultivate and discard countless exploitative or abusive relationships during their legally marginal lives. Despite rumors of Ardat Yakshi syndicates, by nature, Ardat Yakshi are incapable of long-term cooperation. Omega. Alright, this is a bunch, because this is all related to the DLC. I think we already read Aria's, on account of already having met her. So, yeah, because we already read this one. Cerberus Adjutant. Adjutant is the Cerberus codename for the experimental subjects created at a secret facility beyond the Omega-4 relay. The creatures are based on Reaper technology, and the adjutants encountered on Omega have the ability to infect any life form to create a new adjutant. Adjutants are deadly pack hunters. They initially remain hidden, observing potential victims and distracting them with subtle whispers. When they select a target, adjutants ambush them with charged projectiles that create a violently unstable mass effect field that causes severe disorientation and renders the target helpless. Enhanced muscle tissue gives adjutants the ability to leap surprising distances, allowing them to close in and infect their target quickly. The baseline form of the being does not match any known species. Xenobiologists suspect that Reapers may have originally created and implemented the virus several cycles before the Prothean extinction, and that it still carries genetic traces of its original host. If this is true, then, like the Collectors, adjutants are a glimpse into the distant past, and a species whose very existence, and struggle against the Reapers, has long been forgotten. Cerberus Rampart Mech. Though its initial invasion of Omega was successful, Cerberus was soon faced with the problem of controlling the station's large and often lawless population. An initial solution was to establish detainment areas bordered with impassable force fields, believed to be sheets of plasma suspended in a magnetic field. As Cerberus tightened its control of the station, units that could pass freely through the force fields to police the populace became necessary, leading Cerberus engineers to recover Loki's security mechs from the remaining Eclipse mercenary chapters. When upgraded with Cerberus's proprietary mini-fabrication technology, shielding recovered from Omega's Element Zero processing plants, and additional ablative armor. The result was the Rampart Mech, a flexible combat unit designed for control and intimidation of Omega's inhabitants. Rampart Mechs can seek out targets or troublemakers anywhere on Omega, even lower industrial areas where radiation can be intense. It is fitted with infrasound and scent markers that are fight or flight triggers for several species, and are intended to subdue or disperse a crowd. When necessary, Rampart Mechs can channel all available power into generating a high-intensity shield that defends against hacking or biotic attacks, and weapons fire, protecting the rampart until reinforcements arrive. For combat, most rampart mechs are equipped with a standard issue shotgun. If damaged beyond repair, the rampart mech destroys the shotgun's aluminum alloy heat dispersal sinks, coating any nearby assailants in red-hot residue that burns through armor. Yes, I experienced that. And I wondered just what the hell it was. In extreme situations, the Rampart mech overclocks into a hunter-killer mode, diverting power from its unique shields to single-mindedly destroy the target. In this mode, the Rampart mech moves faster, attacking with a flash-forged Omni Blade that targets unprotected nerve clusters and immobilizes the luckless target. The Rampart also channels excess heat through the dispersal sinks, visibly burning off materials to create an intimidating display as it advances. I don't remember that part, unless that was the little red shoulder flares that it had. Nyreen Kandros. Born to a family with a long and honored tradition of military service, Nyreen Kandros left the Turian military after the emergence of her biotic abilities. Oft suspicious of biotics, the Turians shipped Nyreen off to the Cabal units, where her abilities and experience were grossly underutilized. After several years as a mercenary, Kandros was drawn to Omega by its reputation as a haven for capable freelancers. Nyreen's early years on Omega were a pivotal time for her. Arya T'Loak took an interest in Kandros, helping her hone her biotic talents while developing her military experience and skills to their full potential. Arya also allowed Nyreen the time she needed to reconcile with her new way of life and her unexpected and initially unwanted abilities. The two eventually parted ways due to irreconcilable differences, but Nyreen Kandros remained on Omega. Upon Arya's return to the station after the Cerberus invasion, Nyreen revealed herself as the leader of the Talons. Reformed under her leadership, the Talons are Omega's newfound symbol of resistance against the Cerberus occupiers, and we saw her go out in a blaze of glory. Turian Cabals. Holy shit, this is a long one. The Cabals are an elite biotic Turian unit whose dictum is, "The intangible is unstoppable." As Turian biotics are relatively rare, with biotic abilities manifesting in only a small percentage of Element Zero exposed Turians, Cabals tend to be small and only comprised of 10 to 15 individuals led by a commanding officer called a Cabalim. A Turian Cabal is often deployed covertly as shock troops or saboteurs, or they're sent on long reconnaissance missions for the hierarchy. In addition to advanced biotic training, all Cabal soldiers are highly skilled in small arms, explosives, infiltration tactics, and piloting. Centuries ago, during the Unification Wars, military black ops would recruit Turian biotics as infiltrators, planting them anonymously in the regular infantry as observers or using them as assassins. This historical practice has left a cultural bias against biotic soldiers among the Turian rank and file. As a result, the Turian hierarchy prefers to keep its Cabals isolated from other branches of the military, citing safety and unit cohesion concerns. Even Turians whose biotic abilities are not combat proficient are segregated into Cabals, often forcing them to cut short their promising careers in order to serve as a medic or maintenance officer. However, Cabal soldiers are professionals. Those who do not adapt are quickly weeded out, resulting in strongly unified teams of experienced, deadly biotic warriors who see their isolation as a necessary sacrifice to protect the hierarchy. The war with the Reapers means that the Turian hierarchy will no longer has the luxury of keeping such powerful assets in reserve. Many Cabals have been recalled to Palaven, while the most experienced have been dispatched to the front lines for surgical strikes on Reaper strongholds or to provide support for regular infantry. Ugh. Having a hard time here, you guys. Sorry. Organizations, what do we got? Cerberus Phantom. Phantoms are agile Cerberus agents with a wide array of offensive and defensive capabilities, including particular specialization in invasive maneuvers and firing from cover. Although intelligence on their implants still evades the Alliance, Phantoms are known to be able to create a personal barrier for greater protection. Monomolecular blades and biotic shielding allow Phantoms to engage in close quarters combat, and Phantoms can briefly cloak in order to recover from injuries. Because of this ability, the Alliance recommends personal confirmation of a Phantom's death. Planets and locations. Sion. Sion, a fortified world under the protection of several Asari matriarchs, has begun to supply fuel to Systems Alliance forces in the hope that an Asari-human partnership might prevent the Reapers from seizing the planet. Alliance forces have since established several outposts in the system. The humans and Asari have been joined by a small detachment of Turians, drawn from the private militia of a corporate conglomerate that does business with Sion. The three species are so determined to defend Sion that integration issues have been negligible. The task force has already thrown back several Reaper attacks, although the commanders express concern that small Reaper forces could have slipped through despite their vigilance. Ontarom. 16 years ago, the Systems Alliance established the first dish field at Ontarom, on Ontarom, defying the tidal disruptions and electrical storms that periodically sweep across the planet. The facility has since grown into a crucial communications hub for the Alliance. Trade between the Alliance base and nearby human settlements sustains planetary unity. The Alliance also trains and hires colonists to maintain the quantum communicators, further strengthening the bond between locals and the military forces that use the comm stations. Although most of the communications relays serve the military, a coalition of Ontarom's businesses has begun construction on a civilian broadcast hub. Might want to delay construction until after the Reaper War, honestly, dude. The local Alliance commander has offered the help of the military's technical experts, making Ontarom a symbol of civilian and military cooperation. Oh my gosh. We might be almost done. Battle of Rannoch. The Quarians' plan to take back their homeworld was risky, and could easily have led to their annihilation if a peaceful solution had not been found. In an initial battle against the Reaper upgraded Geth ships, the Quarians found their heavy fleet and a portion of the patrol fleet outmatched. To stave off defeat, the Quarians retreated at FTL speeds to rally with the civilian fleet on the far side of Rannoch's sun, Tikkun. Temporarily hidden, but with only minutes of advance warning should a Geth scout spot them, the Quarians planned counterattacks to disrupt the Geth link with the Reapers. First, preying on a damaged Geth dreadnought, the Quarians followed by sending strike teams to Rannoch's surface to destroy the Reaper that was transmitting improved software to the Geth forces. We were witness to all of this. I don't know why we're rereading it. When the Reaper uplink was disrupted, the Geth suffered momentary downgrades in response time and intelligence, allowing the Quarians to press their advantage. But an emergency order from Commander Shepard and Admiral Shalaran Vastonbe broke off hostilities before the Geth's full capabilities were restored. It is to the Quarians' credit that all three fleets obeyed the order to cease fire, even the civilian fleet, which had little combat experience. The Geth, for their part, bore no ill will toward enemy combatants and broke off hostilities with perfect discipline. It remains to be seen how the Geth and Quarians will manage to coexist on Rannoch. For now, they have committed their considerable military forces to repel the Reapers. Given the long-lasting animosity between the Geth and the Quarians, it is possible that the Reapers did not plan for the possibility of such an alliance, and will be unprepared to contend with both armadas. Gosh, okay, fine. The Cerberus coup. Let me drink some water here. Councillor Udina's attempted coup will no doubt be analyzed for generations to come, but a clear picture is beginning to emerge. Udina had contacted Cerberus to coordinate what was intended to be a bloodless takeover of the Citadel, in which he would force the other counselors to grant him emergency powers so that he could command the Citadel fleet. He would then direct the fleet to liberate his homeworld, Earth. The plan fell apart early when Executor Palin and the Solarian Counselor caught wind of it. In defense of the plan, the Elusive Man dispatched his top assassins, commanded by Kai Lang, to kill them. Udina had little choice but to support the assassins with an armed force sufficient to hold the Citadel. Captured confidants have indicated that Udina and Lang's alliance was relatively fragile. Udina may have planned to turn on Cerberus once the fleet was his to command, and Lang departed when he calculated that Udina would not succeed. Persistent rumors suggest that Udina might have been a high-functioning victim of Reaper indoctrination. His actions played right into the Reaper's plans. Even if the coup failed, it would have damaged Citadel governance. If it succeeded, his plan to retake Earth would likely have turned into a military blunder that Council forces could ill afford. However, there is no direct evidence of his indoctrination, nor obvious opportunity. It is more likely that Udina acted out of desperation, and in doing so cost humanity its counselor. The fall of Thessia. The assault on Thessia did not go as smoothly as the Reaper's strikes against the other races. While other species met the Reapers head-on, the Asari resorted to dangerous hit-and-run tactics to harass their attackers. By engaging in guerrilla strategies, blasting a Reaper ship, then jumping to FTL where they could not be tracked, the Asari forced the Reapers to remain on the defensive. Unfortunately, the Reapers' greater numbers allowed them to accept certain losses, so they soon ignored the attacks against them and began orbital bombardment of Thessia. This, in turn, forced the Asari to defend their homeworld with a more traditional stance, facing the Reaper forces directly. As soon as the Reapers landed on Thessia, the harvesting began. A swift and brutal slaughter of the Asari ground forces followed. Resistance from trained biotics barely slowed the attackers down. In the end, Thessia's minimal military forces, combined with unpreparedness in the face of an overwhelming enemy, resulted in the fall of the planet. The Miracle at Palaven, which of course is also very long. The Turian and Krogan counterattack on Palaven combined deception, courage, and tenacity. First, the Turians leaked a false battle plan that drew on the same tactics they used at the beginning of the assault on Palaven. Then, the dreadnought Indomitable faked a problem with its drive core coming out of FTL near Palaven's moon Menae. 3 other dreadnoughts and their attendant fleets deployed to assist Indomitable, a tempting target that drew Reaper capital ships away from Palaven. Turian troop transports then entered Palaven's atmosphere to release shuttles, gliders, and individual soldier capsules. The Reapers did not understand the seriousness of the threat at first. Those that detected the landing crafts sent husks and collector swarms to intercept them, but little more. This allowed Krogan commandos to link up with Palaven's resistance and hand off their payloads, warp bombs, and fission weapons. In simultaneous strikes across the globe, Reaper ships began to explode. Turian resistance members had managed to smuggle the bombs inside when the Reaper processing ships, troop transports, and even destroyers and capital ships had opened their structures to indoctrinate Turian leaders. Large swaths of territory fell back into Turian and Krogan control. News of the victory gave a much-needed boost to the morale of the Turian resistance and the galactic public. But the action was not without sacrifice. Turian insurgents gave their lives to ensure the explosives detonated, and the processing centers they destroyed were full of civilians who died just as surely as if they had been harvested. Of the dead, General Minin Resvirix said, "Whatever they were in life, their deaths had no equal. They are worthy of joining the spirit of Palaven itself." My God. A fully read codex. We can only hope, after the assault of the Crucible, I think, right? that they say the same about us.